The knock at the door changed everything. Michael Carter stood frozen, his 5-year-old daughter's birthday cake half decorated on the kitchen counter, blue frosting still clinging to his fingers as Emma's words echoed in his ears. "I want a baby, can you help?" If you're wondering how a simple request could turn a single father's carefully balanced life upside down and lead to the most unexpected journey of his heart, stay with me. And if this story touches your heart, please hit that like button and subscribe to follow more stories that remind us how life's biggest surprises often become our greatest blessings. Emma Donovan had moved in next door 6 months ago. Tall, with auburn hair that caught the sunset like copper wire, she'd been nothing but friendly smiles and neighborly waves. Nothing in those casual exchanges prepared Michael for her standing on his doorstep that Friday afternoon with tears in her eyes and those 7 words that would change everything. Michael had been raising his daughter Lily alone since his wife's death 3 years earlier. The journey from broken widower to competent single dad had been the hardest thing he'd ever done, but he'd found his footing. He had routines. He had systems. He had balance. Or at least, he thought he did, until Emma's request threatened to upset everything he'd carefully rebuilt. "I'm sorry," Michael said, wiping his hands on a kitchen towel. "I'm not sure I understand what you're asking me." He glanced over his shoulder at Lily, who was happily coloring at the dining table, oblivious to the conversation at the door. Emma's cheeks flushed. God, that came out all wrong. She pressed her hands to her face. "I'm sorry. Can I come in for a minute?" That was how it began, with confusion, embarrassment, and the kind of vulnerable honesty that only comes when someone has reached the end of their rope. As Emma sat at his kitchen table, hands wrapped around a mug of hastily made coffee, the full story emerged. She wasn't asking Michael to father a child. She was asking if he knew how to navigate the foster system. "I've always wanted to be a mother," Emma explained, her voice steady despite the tears that had dried on her cheeks. "I thought I'd do it the traditional way, meet someone, fall in love, build a family together. But I'm 38 now, and I've stopped waiting for the perfect timing. I want to foster a child, hopefully adopt eventually. But the system is overwhelming, and everyone says you've done an amazing job with Lily. I thought, maybe you could help me figure out where to start." Relief washed over Michael, followed immediately by a wave of something he couldn't quite name. Pride? Flattery? Or was it wariness at the prospect of becoming entangled in someone else's life-changing decision? He had worked hard to establish boundaries after losing his wife. Helping Emma meant crossing those boundaries, inviting complication back into his carefully ordered world. "I don't know how much help I'd be," he said finally. "Lily is my biological daughter. I've never fostered." Emma's face fell, and Michael felt an unexpected pang at having disappointed her. "But," he continued, surprising himself, "I do volunteer at the community center's single-parent support group. Several members have fostered or adopted. I could introduce you." The smile that bloomed across Emma's face stirred something in Michael that had been dormant for years, something he wasn't ready to acknowledge. "That would be wonderful," she said. "Thank you." That conversation should have been the end of it, a simple favor for a neighbor, an introduction made, nothing more. Michael never expected it to be the beginning of a journey that would intertwine their lives in ways neither could have anticipated. The community center meeting was held in a fluorescent-lit room with motivational posters and the lingering smell of institutional coffee. Michael introduced Emma to the group, watching as she nervously explained her desire to foster. To his surprise, several members immediately took her under their wing, sharing resources, warnings about paperwork, and personal stories of both heartbreak and joy. "This is Patricia," Michael said, introducing Emma to a woman in her 50s with salt and pepper hair and laugh lines etched deeply around her eyes. "She's fostered 17 kids over the years and adopted 3. Patricia hugged Emma like they were old friends. "The system needs more people with genuine love to give," she said warmly. "But honey, you need to prepare your heart. It's not easy." After the meeting, Michael and Emma walked to the parking lot together, the cool evening air a refreshing change from the stuffy meeting room. "Thank you," Emma said, stopping beside her car. "That was exactly what I needed. They're all so supportive." Michael nodded. "It's a good group. They've helped me a lot too, even though my situation is different." Emma tilted her head, studying him with those perceptive green eyes that seemed to see more than he was comfortable revealing. "How are you and Lily doing, really? Everyone talks about what a great dad you are, but no one mentions how you're holding up." The question caught Michael off guard. Most people didn't look past his competent facade, didn't ask about the man behind the super-dad reputation he'd cultivated out of necessity rather than choice. "We're managing," he said, the honest answer surprising him. "Lily's thriving, which is what matters. The rest I figure out day by day." Emma nodded, a silent understanding passing between them. "Well, if you ever need a friendly ear, my door is always open. Literally, I'm right next door." Michael drove home that night with Lily sleeping in her car seat, thinking about Emma's words. It had been so long since anyone had offered him support rather than the other way around. So long since anyone had seen him as Michael the person rather than Michael the widower or Michael the single dad.